Hello, hello. This is Patty Jo. How are you? I hope you're staying warm. We are on day 5 and we're getting through this parade. We just saw the last witness who is so still traumatized. I think I always see her husband. I'm not sure. Darrell was his usual monster self.
Good morning, Mr. Bonesteel. If you would please make your way to the witness stand, which is to my right. It is up a riser. When you get there, please remain standing, raise your right hand, and my clerk, Teresa, who's on my left across from you, will swear you in.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Please have a seat. The first thing I will ask you to do is to state your first and last names for the record and then spell each.
First name is Adam. Last name is Bonesteel. ADAM-BONESTEEL.
Thank you. Go ahead, your witness.
Thank you. Mr. Bonesteel, thank you for being here this morning, sir. I want to ask you about the events of November 21 of 2021, okay?
Yes.
Were you participating in the WAUKESHA Christmas parade that afternoon, sir?
Yes.
And what was your role in the parade?
I was driving the float for Citizens Bank.
And your wife Stephanie works for the bank, is that right?
Yes, I was volunteering with her and the rest of the family.
Right.
So this is the last lady's husband. Wow. Wow. This is not going to be easy to watch. This poor guy had to wonder where his kids were, where his wife was, watch that other lady getting hit. Oh, okay. First of all, not so dumb anymore, just plain. I wish I could see all of it on my phone. You can comment all you want. I love the comments. Says, I'm really sorry to comment again, but do we all remember the beginning of this when Brooke said, briefly? Briefly. We all knew it was a lie, but when Zach starts to object to, okay, this is back with the earlier testimony a couple of days ago. Asked and answered, it should be tell Brooks to move it. He basically wasted a week with this BS. Everyone in that courtroom has way more patience than I could. Totally. I cannot do just one person. As sometimes I can't do the whole testimony of one person. I do not know how they sat there. It's torture. What happened in that courtroom? I mean, the parade was a rampage. It was terrible. It was traumatic. But this was just plain 3 weeks of torture. Way more patience than I could ever have listening to him spew his crap. Don't be sorry for that one. That was funny. Woo! Okay, so this poor guy, this is the husband of the last lady, who, by the way, she was totally traumatized. I'm sorry. She even the way they asked her the questions was differently. Did you notice that? First of all, it was Susan Opper that asked the questions and not Zach Wichow. I wonder if that was strategic in a way. And did you notice how they asked her open-ended questions rather than, the short staccato questions they've been asking? She was extremely expressive, very much of a very emotional. So.
And
oh, that's too loud.
you said you were driving the float, is that right?
That is correct.
Were you driving a vehicle pulling a trailer with the float on it, or?
I was driving a Suburban pulling the trailer.
Okay. So you have a full-size Chevy Suburban?
Yes.
Which is like a large SUV?
2019.
Full-size SUV?
Yes.
Okay.
Overruled. His answer may stand.
And the float was on the trailer behind you?
Correct.
Okay. Do you know about how long the trailer was or the approximate size?
12 by, I would say 8 feet by 12 feet.
Okay. Now, when the parade started out, were you alone in the car?
No,
Who was with you?
I had a 6-year-old daughter of one of the employees with me. She was in the passenger seat.
Okay. And other than that, you were alone in your car with her?
Her and
I
I
like
were
how she
in the
says that's
vehicle,
car.
just us two.
Okay.
Very Wisconsin.
Were you playing any loud music as part of your group's presentation?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Do you remember if you had the windows on your vehicle up or down?
The window on my side, driver's side window was down. On her side, it was slightly down.
Okay. And do you remember during the parade something unusual that your attention was drawn toward?
Overruled. You may answer, sir.
Along the route,
Yes.
yes, it would be important to note that the groups got spread out. And it
Okay.
happens in parades where one's going faster and the others are going slower, and we got left kind of in the middle. We had a lot more people, walking, and so there was a gap. The dance crew behind us was a good half a block behind us. The dancing grannies in front of us were about another half a block in front of us.
Okay.
Driving in the parade, I generally, want to know where my walkers are, so I'm always in my mirrors, watching my speed. They come up, they grab candy off the trailer to throw to the crowd. So, you have to be very alert.
Okay. Now, you've driven in parades before.
Yes.
Because you're a good husband.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, this is a good man, and he's talking about something that Darrell is really not going to get, which is he had regard for the safety of the people around him, not just his group that he knew was coming up to his moving vehicle and pulling candy off of the trailer, but the group in front of him, the group behind him, the dancing grannies. Maybe somebody trips or falls, or a knee's not so good and they slow down a little bit or something like that. The dancers who maybe get into their dancing routine, maybe they trip and fall themselves. I mean, it is cold, there could be ice, who knows? I mean, there's all sorts of hazards, and he is very aware. Very good man.
And
Like him.
Overruled.
the
Please stand. Go ahead.
thank you, Your Honor.
What, you're
Would
not
you say
including
that
Darrell?
Consistent with your practice, did you do that in this float? You're constantly aware of what your surroundings were, and people walking with your group,
Yes.
people ahead of you, and the people behind you as well.
Correct.
Okay.
I think as we go, his behavior escalates. So I think we're seeing an escalation. He didn't win his subpoena of the state of Wisconsin. Waste of time this morning. They're now being jovial with the witnesses, trying to build some rapport, and he's rolling his eyes and shaking his head, and he's saying more stupid, ridiculous sovereign citizen crap in front of the jury as they walk in, and he's interrupting more. So I think he's escalating.
Do you know downtown Waukesha pretty good, or okay, or
No.
not very good at all?
No.
Okay. Do you know the parade route?
I did know the route, but I couldn't tell you cross streets. I can't tell you, those specifics.
Sure. Do you know where you were along the route when the trouble happened?
Well, I know the landmark would be the nice ash bar that was basically right. We were in front of where we were in that block when things transpired, just because they took us in when businesses were locking down. My vehicle got basically blocked in by emergency vehicles.
Okay.
I was not able to leave,
Sure.
and when everything was going on, they basically took our group in. I started packing up, like I could leave,
Okay.
getting the float packed up and just wanting to get my family home.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where police officers came by as they were taping off the area and said, "You can't be here."
Okay.
So my vehicle ended up staying there overnight.
Okay.
Wow.
So let's go back to the point where you noticed something was going on in the parade.
So, we had started, the parade route had gotten, with our groups kind of separated. I noticed when I had looked out my driver's side mirror that I saw headlights behind me, and I remember thinking briefly, what's the dance guy doing behind me? Why is he so far off to the left?
Okay.
Basically, when that thought was over, I heard the roar of an engine, and I was watching in my side mirror and saw a woman running kind of towards the corner of my vehicle, the back corner, in between, let's say by the tongue of the trailer, and we're trying to get to that point of my vehicle.
Okay.
And then saw the impact and heard it, as well as the roar of an engine.
Okay. Let's just break that down a little bit, okay? So first you notice the headlights, then you hear the engine, and you see a person running. Did you know who it was at that instant?
No.
Okay.
I had no idea who the person was.
Could you tell it was a member of your group?
Yes.
How could you tell that?
They had the red cloaks on.
Okay. So then you said you heard something?
Oh, yeah, I heard and saw the impact.
Tell us about
If you
that,
ever
please.
heard a car hit another car, or an abutment, or a deer, if anybody's ever hit a deer with their car, you've heard it.
Wow. I get so caught up in how emotional. I mean, look at him. He's starting to perspire. He's starting to get a little flushed, even around his neck. The way he's moving around, he's uncomfortable. He's emotional, trying to stay strong, and he's got a lot of ugly things to say. So, to report here.
I watched the body fly up onto the hood, and her head snapped back, and the body remained on the hood as it passed the side of my vehicle to where I thought I could have just reached out and grabbed her.
So this happened that close to you?
Yes.
You saw all this with your own two eyes?
Yes.
Did the car continue past you?
Yes.
Where did it go?
The car veered kind of in front of me. I saw brake lights and saw what was Jane fall off the hood. He proceeded to, and she was basically on the right side of his vehicle, and he proceeded to run her over with the right front tire, then the right rear tire. And at that point, I was just focused on the body on the ground, but I remember hearing the roar of the engine again. And
How fast were you going?
2 miles an hour.
That had to have been so difficult for him to say. So basically, he describes the car coming around the driver's side, very close. He's probably driving in the middle of the street. He says he's going 2 miles an hour, which that's what we've all along estimated based on what my friend told me, who does all these parades, way more than I ever did. I used to run around with the dance crew mostly, but, he does the bands and the, positioning and the flow. So he knows miles per hour of this. He's telling me 1 to 2 is right on the money. That's where they are walking. So he's going 2 miles an hour. He's barely moving. Here comes this car. He sees somebody from his group. He knows because of the outerwear on the hood of the car. She runs. He hits her anyway. Her head snaps back, which is devastating right there. He continues, comes around the front of the car. Now he's going to say these brake lights are something else, but we know what this is. He hit the brakes so that the body of the lady that he just hit would get off the hood of his car. And then he proceeded to run her over as if she was nothing. I don't know how else you describe somebody who does that other than monster.
How fast would you estimate the other vehicle was going?
30.
30.
Did you get a description of that other car?
It was red,
That's all you know?
like a box type back end.
A boxy
That's all I
back
know.
end.
That's all. I again, once I thought my wife was the woman on the car. So you see your whole life going by you,
That
you know,
just gave me
and
chills.
what you think is an act of terror because you don't know what's going on, and then a body's laying on the ground, and at that point, that was my only focus. My vehicle, I threw it in park and ran to decipher if this was really who I think it is.
Okay.
Details of which direction the vehicle went after that, I cannot tell you. I'm sorry. It was tunnel vision right to the ground.
Of course. You do
He's describing
distinctly
trauma.
remember, though, seeing the red vehicle that you've described roll over the person on the ground.
Yes.
With both tires.
Yes.
I'll show you an item that's been marked as Exhibit 46, please. And we're going to put it up for you first and have you take a look at it.
That was a lot. No wonder he's flushed. Look at him holding his mouth. He doesn't want to say these things.
Is it up on your screen, sir?
Yep.
And right now the video is not playing. It's frozen on the first frame. Do you see that?
Yep.
Do you recognize what you're looking at here, sir?
Yep.
What are you looking at?
It appears to be Jane on the ground.
Is that what she looked like when you ran up to her?
She was on her side, face down. Yeah.
I'm going to ask
Those are the pants. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to have my assistant play this video through for you. It's a total length of 15 seconds, okay?
Yes.
I want you to watch it, and then I'll have some questions for you, okay?
What you did. Look at the expression on his monstrous face, and look at the way he's snarling. He's disgusted. What he sees is disgusting.
Okay. Mr. Bonesteel, did you see yourself in that video?
Yes, I did.
Do you believe this video is a true and accurate representation of the events as you ran up to Jane on the
Yes.
street? Move to admit 46 and permission to publish, Your Honor.
Objection.
Exhibit 46 is received. Permission to publish is granted.
My objection be noted for the record, Your Honor.
It's noted.
All right. So, Mr. Bonesteel, in this frame, I don't see you in this frame yet, correct?
That's correct.
But we do see Jane laying there on the road, correct?
That's correct.
She's got the red top and the black plaid pants. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. We're going to go ahead and play it all the way through, 15 seconds at normal speed. That's you right there in the khaki pants at the 6-second mark.
That is correct. Black sweatshirt.
That's you right there at the end. Sunglasses on your head. Okay.
Was that a yes?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Thank you, sir.
He can't look at him either.
Do you know if medical assistance was provided to Jane?
I do not.
What happened?
Once I realized that it wasn't Steph, I ran back to find her and the kids. And I found them
Yeah.
back by the vehicle.
Okay.
After I had found them, my next thought was, oh my God, Addison's behind us. That's my daughter's good friend. And another friend was also there. And I ran back to find her.
With the extreme dance group?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so what he just describes is he leaves the lady who was on the hood and was then run over. goes to find his family, then sees somebody else who's a young girl in the next thing, and he's describing a great deal of chaos. And the way men are built, the way they are wired, they fix. They fix. And I would hardly be critical of him leaving the one lady and moving on to his next priority. He's just doing the best he can in a situation that he was not equipped for this day. He didn't go out thinking that. When I used to go to work, my mindset was on, what's the worst thing? Can I handle it today? How is this call coming out? What am I likely to find? What's the best thing I can find? What's the worst thing I can find? And how am I going to collect it together? I mean, that's how your mind operates if you're always getting ready to go into something that could be like this. He's getting ready to go to a Christmas parade. He was not prepared. He was not prepared for his head to think, how am I going to organize this in my head? So he's doing, I would never criticize any of the actions of anyone on this scene. I think that's the bottom line.
Did you find those girls?
I found Addison. Sam had been struck.
What's Sam's last name?
Coelho.
Okay.
I asked Addison if she wanted to come with us. Her mother was actually waiting at the end of the parade route, so she was en route to get her. But
Okay.
then I went back to my family and the rest of the group that we were in the parade with, and at that point the nice ash bar was taking them in.
Okay.
And then I was just focused on getting out of there.
Yeah.
Which didn't happen.
Did you learn later that Jane passed away due to her injuries from this collision?
We did learn that later. My gut feeling in that was
She was down on the ground.
that she had passed.
You mean when you
That's
went up
probably-
and saw her?
Yes.
Okay. Look at his face. He feels guilt. You can see it. And again, I would never criticize. You can never criticize somebody in the way they respond in a traumatic event like this. He probably ran right up to her and knew right away, but he doesn't want to say it. His brain probably didn't want to register it. He didn't want to say it. It wasn't his wife, and there was nothing to do here. So let's find the wife. He doesn't know if anybody else could prioritize, maybe doing CPR. But quite frankly, again, remember, with that many people, I would have looked at her, and if I couldn't get her breathing with an open airway and there's no pulse, I'm moving on to the next person. That's the way those triage operations work in an incident like this. Even in Columbine, there was a boy in the library. If there is brain matter, that person is not viable. That's the bottom line. They're not viable. And somebody else's brain matter was on this boy. The one who crawls out the window and jumps. If you go back to some of those scenes or pictures years and years ago from Columbine High School shooting, the boy jumped out the window. They had passed him over thinking that the brain matter on him was his, and it wasn't. It was someone else's. He saved himself by crawling over from the black tarp basically to the red tarp. So he did it himself, but that's the way you move through those scenes. So again, he naturally did this, and it's not his fault that lady was killed by that car. It is Darrell Brooks's fault. So I have no idea what Darrell could possibly say to this man. Like, there's nothing.
You felt she was either dead or close to death?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. I don't have any other questions for you.
So he couldn't identify me either.
All right, Mr. Brooks, do you have any questions for this
God.
witness?
I do.
Oh, God. I do. Whew. Whew. We know you don't feel anything, you soulless jerk. Oh God, now he's acting emotional. Is he acting emotional? This is how my story ends. That's what he says in the police interrogation.
I apologize.
I apologize.
Quick second.
I need a quick second. Ugh. You are disgusting. I wonder who told him to do that. I wonder who told him that he had to act that way, or he would look like a monster.
At some point in
not that he doesn't.
your testimony, you stated that you heard, or rather, you saw brake lights. Would that be fair to say?
Yes, I did.
To the best of your knowledge, what would be the only time you would see brake lights on a vehicle?
Let's guess that his answer is A, to stop the car and find out if he's injured anybody. B, to stop the car for any other reason so that it doesn't hurt anybody else. Or C, to stop the car so that the person that he had just struck would get the heck off of his hood and out of his way and the thunk over the poor person's broken body. Let's see. Let's see what Stephanie's husband has to say.
The point right before Jane fell off the hood.
The brakes right before Jane fell off the
I
hood.
think you misunderstood my question.
No, he didn't misunderstand the question. I think you just didn't like the semantics of his answer. Okay.
If you were driving a vehicle, would it be fair to say that the only time anyone would see brake lights would be if you hit the brake?
Why are you trying to control the semantics, narcissist? Why are you trying to bully this traumatized man into saying, yes, it was so that you could stop. But the reason that you could stop was so that you could get the last body off the hood. That's the reason. You're a monster. Bottom line, this is where it should have ended. This is the end of the case right here. I mean, all of that other stuff is just extra detail because he's already run over a dozen people at this point, better than, and this is the testimony for the second person who doesn't survive his rampage.
If the driver hit the brakes, the brake lights would go on the vehicle.
So it would be fair to say that the only way that you would see brake lights would be if the driver of the vehicle hit the brakes.
That would be correct.
And now he proved that the brakes slowed and stopped potentially, or at least close to it, the vehicle, which means he could have stopped all along or slowed down or whatever. Good job, Darrell. I think you just helped the prosecution again. Numbskull.
You did state in your testimony that you did not get a look at the driver. Would that be fair to say?
Fair to say.
That was never part of my testimony.
Yeah,
Nobody had
thank
asked me
you.
that question.
Thank you.
Are you asking me that question if I had seen the driver?
I do recall you
No.
saying that you did not see the driver. So I guess that's...
In my testimony?
Yes.
No.
Hold on.
I
He's
don't
going to
believe-
ask you a question, and I'm going to ask that you answer that, okay?
Okay.
So go ahead, ask your question.
Did you at any time see the driver of the vehicle?
By the way, he didn't. Not that I remember.
No.
No. So, there you go.
You did testify to, when you were describing what you saw, you referred to the driver as he. Any reason why you referred to the driver as he if you did not see the driver of the vehicle?
This is almost as astute as saying, you said car, and who is you? What a moron. What an idiot.
That would be like the proverbial we.
Yes.
Well, there's males, there's females.
No, Darrell. No. When you learn grammar, had you learned grammar, you will learn that if you don't have a masculine or feminine reality, it goes to the masculine. Almost all languages, I believe, do that. It's kind of like, how do you know whether to say you and I or you and me? Okay, the way I learned it is this, and tell me if I'm wrong, teachers, because I was like in the dumb English in college when I first started. If you would take away the other pronoun, if it was I that you would put in the sentence, then you used that person and I. If it was me, that didn't fit her or me. That didn't fit her. That didn't fit me. So it would be her or me, not her or I. That I wouldn't say that didn't fit I. So that's how you decide. But what he's saying is just like Coke and cola, car and vehicle, we use generalized terms in our language. And if you don't have the gender, then it goes to the masculine. He's correct.
There are singles and there are togethers. I mean, when you say we, it's the proverbial we.
So
Collectively, he would be
Individual that I don't know the
along those lines as well.
gender. You go to the
is it
masculine.
fair to say that you could have just answered as we instead of he?
No.
Grounds.
Sustained. Next question, sir.
I saw we in the
No
car.
grounds on that.
What you asked is
Doesn't matter.
stupid. Yeah.
Rephrase your question.
Any reason why you would answer that question as he?
Objection, irrelevant,
He-
argumentative.
Grounds.
Argumentative.
Asked and answered.
And asked
Sustained.
and answered. Yeah. It was a generalized term.
Were you able to get a license plate of the vehicle?
A license plate.
No, I was not. I was focused.
I missed something. Can you say it again?
Alexa stopped eavesdropping. License place. Alexa, what's a license place?
A license place refers to the authorization granted by a governing body, often a company, to use or possess something. It involves granting rights to another business in exchange for payment, typically for the purpose of making, selling, or using assets. Just so you know, you can also ask me questions in your car. Would you like to learn more?
No, and I didn't say license. I said license. License place. What is a license place? She doesn't know either.
Like I had said, on the body, on the ground. So I did not get the license plate. I'm
After the vehicle had passed the vehicle that you were in, did you see the vehicle strike anyone after that point?
I did not see the vehicle strike anyone after the vehicle had passed me, other than driving over, like I had stated, the body that it had already struck.
He can't even say it. Look at how he's trying to get it out.
Did
Like-
you observe the
Like he vomited out that phrase. Because saying the words running over the woman's body, it was a woman's body. It was a living, breathing person who didn't deserve what she got.
vehicle strike anyone while it was approaching your position?
Clarify your question, please.
Did you observe the vehicle strike anyone while it was approaching your position?
Yes, I saw it hit Jane
While it was approaching you,
while it was coming
or
up.
your vehicle rather?
Yes.
What you did to that one lady is enough for this one.
Did you observe the vehicle strike anyone else in that moment?
Moment?
No, just Jane.
You disgusting piece of garbage. I like finishing sentences for the witness. Oh my god.
And you said you went into a building called the Nice Ash after that moment?
That was correct.
Do you recall about how long you were in the Nice Ash?
Irrelevant.
Hour and a half maybe. I would pop in and out because I was trying to wrap up the float and get us out of there. And then once I was told that I cannot touch my vehicle nor the float anymore because the area was deemed a crime scene, we went back in and made a plan on how we were going to get all of us home and then proceeded to leave. But businesses, I believe, were locked down, so no one could get in or out. They were locking their doors. Every time I went out, they would ask me, knock on the door, because we're locking it.
Do you recall about what time it was at that moment?
No. These are thoughts that you don't think about when you've been through something like this. I didn't sit there and note down times. I'm not trained in this.
This poor guy. This is such a nice guy. This is an example of one of those Midwestern nice guys. He's so nice. He's trying to explain to Darrell, who is subhuman, not human. And yes, I do blame his mother.
Do you recall if it was still daytime or nighttime at the
Well, the parade started around 4:30, so it gets, and it was cloudy, so it was dusk. I mean, city lights were on. Emergencies vehicles, when they were pulling up, you saw the sirens, on the streets. You saw it was dusk. It was getting dark.
Would it be fair to say from the Exhibit 46 video that you were shown that it was pretty clear?
Again, wasn't focusing on the.
Did Darrell just prove that he could have seen that woman and not hit her and run her over? Did he just prove that it was clear enough?
The sky.
He's trying to blame this guy for something?
Do you agree or disagree? The video that you saw was clear. That was the question.
The video, the clarity of the video, or the skies? Please clarify
that
your
it
question.
was pretty much still daytime. You can see everything pretty clear. Everything
Yeah, Darrell.
You can see, yes.
Yes, Darrell, you could have seen all of that,
clear.
Darrell.
It was dusk. Lights were coming on.
Yes.
The city lights, street lights were coming on.
This poor guy doesn't have a clue what Darrell's asking. And that just is so funny. Oh, you're doing a good job, dude. Because Darrell's digging his own grave. You just need to back up a little. You're going to fall into the hole. Darrell, you're so stupid.
Would it be fair to say you can recall lights coming on, but not the driver of the vehicle?
That's asked and answered, Your Honor.
Objection. Grounds.
Overruled. He may answer.
I can remember lights coming on because they are stationary. The vehicle was traveling past me at a rate of speed with a woman that I thought was my wife on the vehicle. Was not really paying attention to who was driving the vehicle. Again.
So would it be fair to say you were paying attention to the lights?
No.
So what would lead you to believe that they were in fact coming on at that time?
Objection. Are
Documented,
Grounds.
asked and answered.
The video that I,
Hold on, there's an objection. I have to rule on it first. That's okay. The objection is sustained. Next question, sir.
Move on to your stupid soft sit stuff. Because you don't have
Do
anything
you
to say.
recall the duration of time that you saw the brake lights?
no, I do not.
But you did, in fact, see brake lights.
Correct.
No further questions.
Any redirect?
Yes, briefly. Sir, after you saw brake lights, did you see the SUV or the red vehicle that you described ever come to a complete stop?
No,
Did you,
Well, there's been an objection. It's overruled. His answer may stand.
did you at any time see the driver of the vehicle pull over, stop, and get out to investigate what he or she had just struck?
Objection.
Overruled.
no,
Did you ever see the vehicle come to a complete stop at any time?
Objection, asked and answered.
Sustained.
That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. You may step down.
She just decimated that brake light thing. Yep, she did. She just decimated what he said about the brake lights. Darrell, you are so dumb. Okay, like, subscribe, and share if you wish. Join me next time for the next witness, and we'll see where this goes. I think we know he's going to start escalating. And he is so dumb.